Yep. Give me a nod when you're ready.
Like
Shooter's ready. Stand by.
Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Bolts and Bourbon. I'm Frank Gao. I'm not joined by Matt today, but our special guest is Shaun Muller. We've had him on before. He is a member of the 3-gun team on the Marine Corps shooting team, and most recently, he attended the Rifle World Shoot in Finland. So this could be considered a bit of a follow-up to the Shotgun World Shoot episode that we did a while back with him and Alex Goking. Several members of the shooting team went, and they all did excellent. Shaun in particular did excellent. He got 48th out of 672 shooters in his division. Absolutely amazing. But we're gonna pick his brain and see how the process went. So glad to have you on. What was the process of you guys getting a team together to go over there to Finland?
Can you say that the question again? It had cut out for a split second.
Oh, it's all good. The process of putting together the team from Weapons Train Battalion to go over there to Finland.
Oh, so first of all, thank you for the introduction, and I'm very happy to be back. The process with getting our guys on the slots that we were allotted, it came down to a vote initially of who was going to go, and first the team together voted for myself and Peyton Garcia to go for the 2 slots that we had, and then more slots opened up, so then we were able to get some more guys on the trip, and from there it was just who we thought was the best fit.
Okay, and you sent some amazing shooters there. For those of you listening that aren't aware, it was Shaun, Peyton Garcia, Steven Corson, Joshua Cardenas, and Tyler Ariano, who all went out. So this is your second time traveling internationally. You also attended Shotgun World Shoot. What were some lessons that you learned from that first iteration of traveling internationally that helped this time around?
Just talking about the travel part.
Yeah.
Just knowing how to coordinate everything. We had a slight hiccup at the airport the second time around. There was we went up to the counter and we said hello, like we're traveling, and I guess this was something that I didn't learn from it, but they said, okay, you have a connection in Amsterdam now. Where's your permit for Amsterdam? We all just blank face stared at the lady, and she was like, all right, well, you're gonna have to change your flights, and then it's either you get on this flight and you don't bring your guns, or you get on another flight and you don't bring your ammo. So
wow.
we were kind of panicking a little bit, but then somebody had mentioned the word military, and she was like, oh, well, if you have orders, then this isn't a problem. And we were like, oh, yep, we have orders. We pulled the authorizations out, and we were able to get that squared away. But going to the Shotgun World Shoot, I had zero clue of what to do. Didn't know where to get the 4457s. Didn't know who to contact, whether that's airlines or IPSC. Thankfully, we didn't have to do any of the direct contacting with the authorities who approve and give the permits to us. That was all IPSC controlled, which I think is the easiest course of action for them. But this time around, it was much smoother. I was able to give the other guys a heads up, like, hey, this is what to expect. With traveling internationally, we also had to get like a foreign country brief and stuff like that. Yeah, I was kind of the guiding light for this whole process for the traveling.
Yeah, makes sense. It's worth mentioning that Steven Corson and Peyton Garcia have also traveled internationally before. So between the three of you, really working together and working through some of those logistics, it seems like there's always a hiccup. It's a good thing that you guys that wasn't something that was a game stopper. So that's good to hear. But something always seems to come up when it comes to international travel. Like there's always going to be at least one issue. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think a big reason behind that is it's really like a language barrier. That's the biggest thing because we're trying to contact these foreign airlines and they have somebody that's either in a call center or wherever they are, but they don't have very good English. So we had to communicate with the airlines to ensure that they knew that we were bringing firearms on each leg of the trip. And for each leg of the trip, they did uh, I guess like a inspection to see that we had all of our stuff uploaded in our accounts or connected to us on our tickets. So it said Shaun Muller, 2 firearms, 5 kilograms of ammunition. Uh, and then it also said the caliber, the length of the gun,
Mm.
and all this. And each of us had to call back 3 times because every time we got a notification that said that it was approved, it said something completely different. Like somebody said 20 millimeter ammunition,
Oh
but
wow.
that that's not it,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. No, definitely not. Yeah. That's all. That's pretty funny. 20 millimeters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, glad you guys got through all the travel stuff. But that aside, so when you were preparing for Shotgun World Shoot, something we asked you was about how, typically you don't dedicate all your training to one platform. You guys are spreading it over three and a variety of skill sets, right?
Yep.
What this time around, what did solely focusing on rifle teach you in the workup to preparing for this match?
Believe it or not, there was actually a lot at this match that I didn't know how to prepare for it or really what to prepare for. I think a lot of us, or at least a few of us, didn't really know what to prepare for because same as a shotgun world shoot, it's a completely different different ball game.
Hmm.
It's almost like a whole different discipline, um, especially when you compare it to 3 gun. But solely focusing on rifle for 2 months before going to the world shoot, except for a quick trip to Minnesota for multi-gun nats. Um, Focusing solely on rifle allowed us to really hone in on everything and ensure that everything was working correctly. A few of us had some issues with like gas, especially when we got over there,
Okay.
but we were trying our best to use the smaller scale IPSC targets and putting them at 20 yards to simulate like a 200 or 300 yard target.
Hmm.
And that was a new one for all of us, I think, shooting IPSC paper at 400 yards.
Okay. Yeah. Nobody practices that. So how does the scoring and reset work with a paper target at that distance?
Some of them, this was actually awesome. So the whole match was staff reset, and for the further distance targets, they had electronic targets.
Oh wow.
So it was an IPSC paper, and I don't remember the brand of the company, but they outline the target somehow, and they will show you on an iPad where your hits were at the 400 yard targets. For the I'd say the ones that are a bit of a walk, but not far enough to use the electronic targets, the ROs would get on a four-wheeler and drive down there, and they would use the hand and arm signals for all the scoring and stuff. So it was actually very efficient.
Okay. Yeah, it's really interesting. So with you mentioned the stage designs and the style of shooting being so fundamentally different from what you're used to in three gun. Is there anything that you saw out of the target presentations or the stage design out there that you would like to see implemented within three gun in the United States?
So I've been back and forth about whether I like uh, hit factor or time plus for three gun. Like multi-gun nats this year, uh, that was hit factor
Right.
for the first time. I think the first time. Um, but I feel like with hit factor, there's a certain way that the targets should be, the stages should be, because once you have super long stage, and it really mitigates or
Yeah.
makes all the small things not really not big things. Makes the small things not big things, but on a shorter stage, small things are big things. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I think what I've noticed about running like longer raw time stages, I think from Marine Corps Championships and also PCSL, is that with these larger raw times, the hit factors tend to be condensed a little bit. Is that kind of what you're talking
Yeah.
about?
Yep.
Right? Like there's not as much of the hit factor diversity that you would see in like a USPSA stage.
Yep. That's what I mean.
Yeah, instead, like, yeah, everyone's like pretty clustered together. So it's kind of hard outside of just shooting a clean stage to really break yourself out of the pack because everyone's got like 60 plus seconds in raw time.
Yep. There was um there was a lot of offhand, believe it or not, at I mean you could have shot offhand at 400 yards if you really wanted to, but nobody did.
Right.
Um, I enjoyed the various positions that they would have you in on a specific stage, especially the longer stages. You'd be going from uh, kneeling to prone, then getting up, getting back into prone, and then standing up, shooting through a port, and then getting up onto a rooftop. And it almost reminds me of a gas gun match, but you're shooting four stages at once.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's all hit factor.
Yeah. Good way of definitely good way of describing it.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Yeah, that's really interesting stuff. So the world shoots are very I guess long form matches. So shooting shotgun world shoot, right? You're shooting over like a week long span. The stuff that we shoot in the States is usually over in 2, maybe 3 days. So how did shooting shotgun world shoot prepare you? And I guess what difference did it make coming into yet another week long format?
After shooting the Shotgun World Shoot, I initially was not prepared for a week long match, excuse me. Um, because I've never shot a week long match before. Thankfully, it was AM PM, both at Shotgun Worlds and Rifle Worlds. But having shot a week long match now, or after Shotgun Worlds, mentally I knew what to expect, and I really knew that it was a marathon. That's what everybody was saying from the start. Everybody was saying that for the Shotgun World Shoot, and I didn't know. I wasn't really understanding like how much of a marathon. And if you have one bad stage, uh, there are 29 more stages for you
Mhm.
to shoot. Um, and that helped me mentally prepare for the Rifle World Shoot. On day one, I zeroed out one of the stages, and I just knew that I had 29 more stages to make up for it.
Mhm.
So I think there were a few stages that um, maybe a fifth of the shooters had zeroed out just
That's all.
because
Yeah.
they were very difficult.
Okay. And how did you do on those stages?
Uh, well, one of them I zeroed out. It was four targets with a no shoot in the center of them. It was going, I think it was 11 miles an hour from
Oh,
right
wow.
to left at 70 yards, and all was a normal size shooting box, but um, there was a barrel in front of you that had the button to activate the track. I think it's supposed to resemble a moose because they do a lot
Ah,
of moose
okay.
hunting and stuff up there.
Okay.
Um, so I had Mike, 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 no shoot, no shoot, Mike, 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 Charlie.
Oh,
And then
geez.
those four targets go from right to left, and as it's getting over to the left, it trips a bobber. And then I think I had like two Charlies on the bobber. Um, I zeroed out that stage, but then Tyler Ariano, he just put in a D60, held down
Oh,
on the
geez.
barrel, and just
Okay.
do 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 do. He got all of his hits.
Okay.
Uh, I don't remember how good they were, but he ended up with a 1.7, which was,
Amazing.
yeah, it was on the higher end,
Yeah.
above average.
Okay. But your overall placement ended up, pretty strong. So I guess, were you checking scores at all while you were out there?
Yeah, yeah, I was. This is something that differed from the Shotgun World Shoot. I didn't want to look at the scores at all, uh, at the Shotgun World Shoot. Um, it just, I knew that I was going to get in my head if I did bad or whatever. But since then, feel I've improved on my mental management, either whether at home, at work, during a match, whatever it is. I've worked on that a lot. So coming into this match, I felt like I was ready to do that because even at Multi-Gun Nats a week before, I was starting to do it, and then I was like, you know what? Yeah, okay, I'm feeling okay. I can do it. I think I'll do it for the long run because I don't know. I just want to know. I need to know like where I stand on this day, where I stand on this day.
Right.
Um, and hit factor matches, they're each stage is worth a different amount of points. So you never really know until the end, anyways, because everybody's shooting different stages on different days.
Right.
Um, I had pulled up the results. I think it was an hour before the final results were put out, and I saw I was 27th, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" And then I saw that Dan Horner still had
Yeah.
6 stages to be put in, and I was like, "Oh, okay, yep, okay, that makes sense."
Yeah. It's definitely harder to score hawk in some of these longer, and with such a giant pool of competitors. Were
Oh
you
yeah,
more closely watching the scores between you and the other guys you traveled with?
yeah, yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Because I was also watching some of their runs. Obviously, I was squadded with Steven Corson and Tyler.
Okay.
And there were some stages where some days where they would just get me on a few stages, or I would get them on just one or two, and I'd be sweating a little bit. So just between us, that friendly competition between us, I also wanted to make sure if how I was stacking up against them, but also I do care about how they play. So
Yeah.
um, I was hoping that they were gonna do well, and they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, y'all did very well. Yeah, that's kind of the dynamic with you all as a team, right? Like, you are competing against each other and you all want to emerge as the one who gets the best score at the end of the day. But at the same time, like, you also want everyone around you to succeed. As paradoxical as that may seem, it's what I've noticed about shooting with you guys and with team members.
Oh yeah.
So, okay. So, looking holistically at your preparations, going to the match, working on your mental game, and then coming away with your finish, which I think is a very strong finish. That's a top 10%
Thank
finish.
you.
Um, how are you looking at the match in retrospect now that you've had some distance?
I've watched videos, both the first person and from my phone, and there's always things that I wish I could have done better, or oh, I wish I knew this 15 minutes before I did this, so I could change this about XYZ, whatever. Um, but all in all, I wouldn't change anything. I did a lot of learning on the spot because, like I said, it's a completely different discipline. There were kneeling bipods, like different things like that. Like I have never used before, besides a week before we left. So it was like things like that that I was learning. There were some of the Finns in our squad that they were teaching us like, hey, you should do this here, or that you should do this here, just because they've been doing it for so long. And um, I told them like right off the bat, I was like, "Hey, this is my first IPSC rifle match. I really don't know what to expect. Like, how would you go about this?" And of course, it's always the balance of speed and accuracy. Some of them would say, "Oh, you should get your hits on this stage, or you should just go
Hmm.
fast."
Yeah.
Um, I guess that's just how every match is. There's always some stages that are speed stages and some that are points heavy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, were there pure speed shoots? We talked about some of the longer raw time stages, but were there ones that were under like what was the shorter stage?
The shortest stage, um, there were 5 targets, and there was pretty much one of two ways you could have done it. You could have done these ways, or you could have reversed them.
Hmm.
Uh, there's uh, target on the right if you're facing downrange, target on the right, target on the left, target on the right, target on the left, target on the right. So the way that I did it was facing the right berm, shot that target, spun 180 to the left, shot that target, 180 to the right, shot that target, went back and forth to the end.
Okay.
And that was I think it was 6.32 seconds with one Charlie, and that ended up being, I think, sixth place on that stage. So
Nice.
I was happy with that.
Yeah.
As soon as I shot that stage, I was like, you know what? I don't care about the overall placement. I'm happy that I can say that I had a top 10 finish on a stage.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, dude. It's definitely something to hang your hat on. Something that you did mention briefly was the number of like fins on your squad. So Rifle World Shoot seems like a bit of an anomaly because there's so many strong rifle shooters in Finland. What is it about that group of shooters culturally that sets them apart from the rest of the world? And yeah, are they like solely the ones influencing the culture of IPSC rifle?
What I noticed from the Finns, the Swedes, and I think that's all we had. Yeah, we were supposed to have some shooters from Switzerland on our squad, but they they disappeared.
Okay.
But just interacting with them, you can tell through their personalities and uh, the way that they talk about stages. It's all very uh, intricate.
Hmm.
Um, on all the long range stages, one of the guys, Sammy, I don't know if he'll listen to this, but Sammy's a great dude. Traded jerseys with him. He taught me a lot about just everything IPSC rifle. Um, every stage that there was long range shots, he was whipping out his Kestrel and getting wind and all that stuff. All of them take it very seriously. It's almost like uh, not that we don't, but it's almost like having a friendship with an officer in the Marine Corps as an enlisted. Like you're friendly on the outside, but then when it comes to the job, like
Yeah.
there's a line,
Yeah.
and that's their line.
Okay.
Like as soon as they say that you can start your stage plan, like there's no talking to them.
Yeah.
They want to focus
Okay.
on everything. And then like even up to when they start shooting, which is even if it's 5 shooters down, like they're walking through their stage in their head all up until that point, especially because it's a staff reset match.
Hmm.
So you have all that time.
Yeah.
What else are you going to do?
Okay.
So um, going back to what we were talking about earlier with something that I started doing um, with the marathon of a match that the Shotgun World Shoot was, um, almost got complacent, or I would say that I was getting complacent towards the end because I was like, all right, it's stage 28, got 2 more stages today. It's the last day. Like it was exhausting. But now I treated or tried my best to treat every stage like it's the first stage because that's the stage that you have the most nerves, you have the adrenaline pumping through. And on stage 4 of the first day, you don't really have that. but I tried to instill that in myself for the entire match.
Yeah, that's a test of endurance for sure, is bringing the same level of energy to every single stage, especially when you've been shooting an entire week. But no, thank you for talking about some of the cultural aspects. It seems like they are a lot more formal and professional in their approach to the shooting sports, whereas there's certain people like here in the United States are definitely like that, but for the most part, our matches tend to be a little more social. Would you agree?
Yeah, yeah, like you look at it like IPSC is fine dining and Three Gun is a bunch of cowboys.
Yeah, it's fucking Golden Corral.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just dumping your rifle in the cheese fountains.
yeah, exactly.
Oh shit. All right. Okay. I am curious. So at this big of a match with as many people that are traveling to it, what was the vendor area like?
The vendor area, they had two almost like warehouses, um small warehouses, and they had maybe six vendors and they set up pretty big booths. um a lot of the stuff was just very expensive, especially because it's not in the US and they have like JP products. Like of course they're going to be expensive because they got to ship it over there. And then I don't know if there's any like ITAR regulations uh on JP products especially, but everything was expensive. I guess that's just the nature of the beast when you're in Europe,
Yeah.
Northern Europe. Um like I don't know. They had a bunch of Magpul stuff. I know that that stuff is ITAR regulated. Um, a lot of expensive stuff. A lot of useful stuff though. Um, one of our guys, he was having problems with his rifle, and he needed gas rings for his bolt, and just went up and it was there. So he was able to get what he needed. They had everything. You could have built a rifle
Okay.
just from buying stuff there, pretty much.
Wow.
Uh, I, di- I didn't see a low receiver, so I,
Yeah.
I guess I can't say that.
I was gonna say like
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. All right, that's pretty neat. Okay, so I mean, last question I have is really not about the match itself, but besides the match, what's one experience you had while you're out there that you'll never forget?
So it was Josh Cardenas that had said, "Hey, um, I want to do something outdoorsy. I want to go hiking, go mountain biking. Uh, we really wanted to go off-roading with ATVs if we could rent them anywhere. So on our 7.5 hour drive from Helsinki to Oulu, I was on the phone looking up places or parks or um, like adventure parks, stuff like that. If we could find anything, and lo and behold, we couldn't find a uh, four-wheeler rental, but we found mountain bike rentals. So on our one day off, we shot 4 days, then had a day off, and then shot the last day. So on our day off, we drove 2.5 hours up to the Arctic Circle. We we crossed like right over it, not like deep into it, and it was also summertime, so
Yeah.
no, not a inkling of snow
Yeah.
anywhere. But we went into this town. We rented some mountain bikes, and then we rode up a mountain all together. And we would all like drift apart at some points, but then we would all meet back up eventually. And these were like some serious trails. I was genuinely nervous and
Mm.
scared. I was like, I got a match tomorrow. I don't want to fall and break something. So I was being real careful. Um, if it was now, then I would have been doing some dangerous things.
Yeah. No, that
Yeah,
sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah.
but I even told him after the fact, I thanked him for wanting to do that because I never would have done that. Um, I'm just not a um, I don't like taking big risks like mountain biking. I've seen like the POV videos, And granted, the POV videos make everything seem faster, but like
Yeah.
going down this huge mountain, going on these ramps and tight turns and all this stuff,
Yeah.
uh, I've watched it before and I just was never interested. But that that was definitely like an eye opener, and it was definitely a great experience to have.
Yeah, no, cool. Glad you guys got to do something cool while you're out there. Enjoy travel in the match as well. Really happy for your performance and everything that you learned leading up to and at the match. At this time, that's really all I have for you. Is there anything else you want to leave the listeners with?
Just get out there and shoot. If there are any Marines that are listening in, whether it's your first time listening in or you've been listening a few times, um, just get out there and shoot. You want to get better, you just got to put in the effort to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's worth mentioning that everyone that went over there to Finland originally started competing more or less on their own. They found competition, they found the Marine Corps marksmanship competitions, they dedicated themselves to getting better, they got on the team, and then they're traveling the world and shooting competitions now. So that could be you as well. You just have to put in the work. To our listeners, thank you. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know how we're doing, and we'll see you on the next one.